Thank you and welcome to the show today. The topic this morning is R.H. Boyd and his times, and we're fortunate to have with us to talk about the founder of the National Baptist Publishing Board, R.H. Boyd, Dr. Bobby Lovett. And Dr. Bobby Lovett is the author of a book dealing with the Boyd family called How It Came to Be. And of course, Dr. Lovett, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Well, thank you, Dr. Haney, and I appreciate being on your show again.
And to tell you, Dr. Lovett, how many times we've had you and how appreciative we are of you to take the time to come by and to talk to us about some of the many books that you've published over the last several years. And I think one of the books that we're dealing with today has to do with the Boyd family.
That is correct.
The family that established the National Baptist Publishing Board. And of course, the individual that we're concerned with this morning immediately is R.H. Boyd, the founder of that particular family. But before we talk about the founding of that family, Dr. Lovett, let's have you to give our audience some statements in reference to your background, education, and some of the things, and perhaps to say something about some of the many books that you've written outside of this most recent effort, How It Came to Be, dealing with the National Baptist Publishing Board. Let's talk about it from that perspective.
Yes. Well, I'm a native of Tennessee. I'm born and raised in Memphis, finished high school there, and I was raised there. Did all of my college education at the University of Arkansas, master's, doctorate, bachelor's degree, and so on. I taught at Eureka College in Illinois, the alma mater of President Ronald Reagan, the late President Ronald Reagan. And I left Eureka College and came to Tennessee State University to be a professor 34 years ago. And since that time, I have focused my work on research in Tennessee and national African American history. My latest two books, one of which we're going to discuss today, are titled The Civil Rights Movement in Tennessee, A Narrative History, University of Tennessee Press, published in 2005. And the one that we will discuss today, thanks to you and the show, is How It Came to Be, the R.H. Boyd family's contributions to African American religious publishing. That particular company today is called the R.H. Boyd Publishing Corporation, which is headed by Dr. T.B. Boyd III, who is one of a long line of family members who have been the CEO and president of that particular company since 1896. Very few companies in Tennessee, Nashville, or the nation have been around continuously under the same family leadership for what this would be 112 years.
You know, Dr. Lovett, I was concerned about this book in the sense that you're dealing with an individual who came directly out of slavery, and yet in spite of all of the obstacles and all of the challenges, he was able to somehow create not only a publishing company, but he was also able to become involved in banking. As a matter of fact, I understand he had something to do with Citizens Bank. Let's talk about that individual and his times, R.H. Boyd, coming out of slavery, able to do these
the individual is Richard Henry Boyd, and Richard Henry Boyd was born a slave in 1843 in Mississippi. By the time he was 15, he was sold and went with his master's family to Texas. At the end of the Civil War in 1865, he learned to read and write. He was a cowboy. He worked, you know, rustling cattle. I'm not rustling cattle, but rounding up cattle.
All right, good, very
cattle
good.
like any other cowboys did.
And they might have done a little rustling too, Dr. Lovett. Go on, very
Doing
good.
that hard work, you know, out on the Great Texas Plains and out in East Texas where he grew up. And he got married in 1869. His wife died. He remarried. And they went on to raise quite a family of children. And he went to school to learn more at Bishop College in Texas. And then, of course, he was ordained as a minister and helped to do a lot of organizing of Black Baptist associations in Texas, where there were few right after slavery. So he was one of the early leaders, and most people at that time, remember, were former slaves like he was. But he was a brilliant man.
And he was able to, and I'm intrigued by the idea that he learned to read after slavery, you see, and the ability to be able to do so. And of course, let me make preparation, Dr. Lovett, for our first commercial break, after which time we'll come back and talk about some of the other activities and members that R.H. Boyd, as well as other members of the family, became involved in. And of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break.